This show is called Why It's Important Live, and I am back here with Mr. Manoj Kumar Singh. With that, you go by just Manoj, yes? What's your nickname, man?
I don't have any nickname. You can call me any by any name or whatever you like, because I've been called by Manoj only, and my parents also call me Manoj only, and my friends also. There hasn't been any nickname for me.
No nickname. Okay. Well,
No.
Manoj it is. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining me back here today and for jumping in and saying, hey, I'd love to do a discussion. And so today you're going to be talking to us about the healing power of words. And I know you have this podcast going. Tell us a little bit about the podcast.
It's called Dil Se Manoj. It's available on Anchor, even on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and on seven different platforms. It is available. And this podcast is basically poetry that I write in Hindi and English. I share that. I share motivational content and spiritual content that are close to my heart. What I believe in, I try to share those things, and even the inspirational stories I try to share in that. So there I have already we have I have 20 plus episodes in that, where I have shared my English story, I have shared my Hindi poetries, and I had one poetry that was on my life, that was called "मैं अभी हारा नहीं." That means I have not lost yet. Okay, that means I am in a battle and I have not lost yet. So the battle continues, right? So this is what I'm trying to share out to the world: the positivity in any form, be it in poetry, be it with the words that I love to talk about. And the most important part, I have always believed that words have healing power, and this is what I am taking ahead in life. And when I connect to people, I try to tell them how your words have an impact on lives of people around you, and
Mm-hmm.
how you can use it for positive impact into the society.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have felt it myself. I was down and out, and there was a time when I was having issues. Let's say I was sad, but I was never in depression, because I have a positive outlook to life. And sometimes what happened, people think that this guy is very stubborn because of it. Probably I know what I want in life, and that makes me bit look like an arrogant individual. But when you come to know me, you will know that the mind is clear what I want in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes and that is what I want other people to also have. You have this clarity, you will achieve whatever you want in your life, and you will
Wow.
enjoy. I haven't earned so much of the money in terms of financial gains, but I have earned people. I have
Mm-hmm.
been able to connect with great people. I have a connection with the people, and that helps me to sleep properly in night. And that is what is important, right?
That is important. I tell you, my spiritual teacher always talked about clarity.
Yes.
And everything really revolved
Yeah.
around that. So what you're saying to me is I'm familiar with, and it's a constant. Um, I don't want to say struggle, but it is in effect. It's like something that we need to strive for all the time, to be really clear, because it's easy to get caught up in all the activities of life. In for people to do this, and you know
Hmm.
what I mean, and to lose that clarity, things begin to go off track. And if you have this focus and this purpose, for me,
Yes.
it was that if I wanted to stay on that track, I needed to keep my clarity,
Yes.
at the top of my list of things.
Mm.
So can you go back a little bit? About a week ago, you were our person behind the passion, and people may not know your backstory. Can you share, 15, 20 seconds of who you are, where you're from, like that.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Manoj Kumar Singh. I am, by profession, if you want to know, I'm a researcher. I'm a biotechnologist by education qualification. And other than that, I'm a published author. I'm a poet. I'm a podcaster and a motivational speaker. So I like to do creative stuff. And at the same time, uh, I am also a rare warrior. uh, Rare warrior means a person suffering from a rare disease. We are born with it. I'm a patient of severe hemophilia. It's a bleeding disorder. Right now, for introduction point of view, I think that is enough to tell about my disease. Last, you can see our last episode, the person behind the passion. There I had told a bit more about my disease and what people like me are going through in their life. I'm just representing that community. And now, through my Trust, Power, and Me Foundation, we are talking about creating awareness about rare diseases, and we are working towards the welfare of people with rare condition, so such that they can be made part of the society and can lead a dignified life, focusing on their education, healthcare, livelihood generation through various ways that are possible. There are limitations to every one of us. And when I say about limitation, people term it as disability. But again, let's see, if you are able to walk, but you are not able to run, that is a limitation. That is a physical limitation, that you are not able to run, but that doesn't limit you to walk, right? You can walk. Similarly, some people are good in mathematics, some people are good in literature, and those people can, very rarely you will find few people who are good in both. So someone is limited in some other activity or some other things. No one can be actually perfect or be very good in all the aspects of life. So you can term them as disability. I call them as a limitation. And
Mm-hmm.
even people with rare condition, they have some limitations. And again, the biggest limitation that is there, that is the environment we live in. If the environment is supportive, you will see productivity, you will see the result. And this is what
Mm-hmm.
we are trying to work on.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
I really love what you said, because there's disability, but then there's ability all around us.
Yes.
I have a very good friend of mine in Cairo who I've known for maybe 10, 12 years. Her son was in a car accident,
Okay.
severed his spine.
Hmm.
He was uh, unable to walk. He was completely numbed from the base of the hip, the
Yes.
spine
Yes.
down. He can never walk. So she,
Hmm.
out of his mother's that I know, she started um, an organization in his name, and she asks for donations to supply wheelchairs to people all over Egypt
Hmm.
to um, so that they can not be trapped in their disability, but they
Yes.
can have an opportunity to advance or evolve their ability. So it
Yes.
calls these people, they're differently abled.
Yes. They're differently abled. They are able, right? They are able,
Absolutely,
but in a different way they are able. Just to create the right environment. That's it.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So let's get to the topic of healing, the healing of the healing power of words. And I mean, words, we know words are powerful
Yes.
because it's dialogue. It's, when you go to the I think about the dictionary, whatever
Hmm.
language it's in, is kind of like
Hmm.
the Bible, because that's where the wisdom is stored.
Yes.
And so when we hear words, when they come, we then act and behave and think based on that impulse that we have.
Yes.
So tell me about, I mean, what is this whole thing that you're talking about, the healing power of words?
Okay. Let's connect it, how it is connected to healing, right? What is healing? When we talk about what is healing again and who needs the healing, we are component, our health or the wellness has component, our physical body, our mental aspect, spiritual aspect, right? All these things combined together to form overall health or wellness of an individual. Again, words have impact on every aspect of these things, right? So let's say when we are young and we hear voice of our mother, right? That sounds the melodious, that is the melodious voice anyone can hear in their life, right? Just a voice of your mother heals you. If you are
Mhm.
suffering, you can sense that your mother is around, it heals you.
Mhm.
Let's say at the younger age you had a fight in school or something bad had happened to you, and you were down. So someone came in, it could be your mother, your father, or your elder brother or sister. They came in and spoke to you in a warm way, in a gentle way, and explained to you about the problem that had happened. But again, things are for betterment, and that was enough, right? So
Mhm.
that helped you heal, those words helped you heal. So this is something, because each word has an impact on us when we hear it. But the important point, let's say, if I'm the person who is suffering, right? So if I'm not able to talk to people, there are many introverts out there who are suffering in silent. They are not able to speak to anyone.
Mhm.
And writing those words is a way to vent out your emotions, because many a times our problems are connected with our emotions. We may not be emotionally available or emotionally healthy. So once we start to write about it, write about our emotions or the situations that are around us, we heal ourselves, because it's like we are talking to someone. We read a book, talk to any book reader or book lover. They talk to the book, they speak
Mhm.
to the book, they
Mhm.
imagine or live with the characters that are mentioned in the book.
Yes.
Similarly, when we are writing and putting our emotions into the book, we are actually giving the power to those words, and we are ready to let go, right? Letting go is one important part of healing yourself when you're emotionally down. Because if you are emotionally you are combated or you have been compromised, it affects your physical well-being too, and it has a
Mhm.
deeper impact on your mental health.
Mhm.
Your thought process is cluttered. So those words that you are putting in you and writing a journal has been used as a therapy by many psychologists, and for centuries I think it has been used, and people are using it already. But I'm doing it in a different style.
Mhm.
I'm saying don't make it a journal or something that what I did, my dear diary. I'm not telling you to write my dear diary, what you do daily. But my way of healing is different. I have a 5-step healing program also that is called mind detoxification program, because everyone needs it. And the healing words, healing power of words is one important part of it, where I use affirmations, because words can be used in many different ways. I use affirmations, I use poetry to actually increase the positivity in an individual. Because how do words work? They work like, let's say, affirmation, right? You're affirming something, something
Mhm.
positive to yourself, right? And when you affirm something, when people talk to people who are into subconscious mind power and mind power techniques, they will say reprogramming of your mind. I'm not saying reprogram your mind, but again, when you give yourself a positive feedback, you start to feel positive. You are just giving yourself a positive feedback that okay, problem is happening, but again, something positive is there, right? and you're writing it and reading it. The words work by, let's say, writing, it heals you. That is one step. One person is healed. When you use to recite it, or when you speak those words, and there is a listener, right? And they are going through the same situation. You heal two people, right? You
Mm-hmm.
yourself and the person who is listening to you. They
Mm-hmm.
can correlate. They can know that there are other people like me in the world out there who have gone through the same situation, but
Mm-hmm.
see, they have been able to come out of it. That gives confidence. You're spreading positivity because you're alive, right?
Yeah.
So this is how the entire healing process of words work. This is how the power of words goes into people. But for that, you need to be mindful, and you need to be open to healing. Because when you have trapped yourself, I'm not going to listen to anyone. I'm into negative thought process. I'm not going to listen, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what the other person says. I'm not going to be open to listening. How it works, you can just not listen. You might be you are shelled into your negative thought process. No matter how many good things you are listening to, these are not going to affect you. Healing is not going to happen because you are trapped.
Mm-hmm.
You have not opened up yourself to receiving that healing. I'm telling you good things in life, and you are going through some level in your something in your life where you are too much into negativity, and I'm trying to help you to come out. I'm giving you the affirmation, and I'm giving you how to go about doing meditation and all those things. These are not going to bring impact on your life, not at all, until unless you have opened up your heart. Yes, I want to let go. I want to heal.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the magic starts to happen. But again, here, I have seen the thing that these healing words, the positive words that when we speak or listen to or we read about them, they help break that nutshell, that envelope that is covering, that negative envelope. It is broken when we are constantly using those positive words.
Mm-hmm.
It gets broken by those words.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, it takes time. Healing is not something that just do this and yeah, voila, I'm healed. It's something that takes time. It depends on how you are compromised or how you've been suffering and how long you've been suffering and how much your problem is complicated, right? So based on that, the healing works. It
Mm-hmm.
may take longer time if you have been suffering for a longer duration, because some things that are engraved in you will take more time to come out. And I have felt changes emotionally. I have felt changes. I have felt changes in the body also.
Mm-hmm.
So many a times what happens in severe hemophilia, we have spontaneous bleeds in joints and muscles and all. So if you are stressed, and see, life is not just we both talking, right? It is beyond that. We are living our life. We are in a society. We are part of a family, and the family has its own role, right? We have some role in our family, or again, when we go outside as a professional, we have some roles defined. Each thing adds up to responsibility, and responsibility does have some stress level, especially when it is connected to expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is connected to expectations, and when you have been bombarded with lots of expectations, right, and the results are not coming in, that builds up the stress, that builds up the problem. Stress is building up, it's accumulating. Now what would happen? You're not able to think clearly. As when we were talking before,
Mhm.
I told you that I need clarity in thought, because I believe to put my energy into it. Until unless the path that you have chosen is clear to you, you'll not be able to actually put your energy into it. And if the energy is not put into the focused place, you won't get the results as you
Mhm.
had thought of, which again builds up to the frustration. Frustration again builds up to the stress level. So here, what I did was, without changing your routine, let's use the healing power of words. I added affirmation. I do prayers in the morning. We have our Hindu rituals, Hindu way of doing prayers.
Mhm.
Uh, I do that. So during that time, I thank to God. I do my affirmation. I thank to God, and uh, during night time before I sleep, I thank to God. I show gratitude to God for a new life, that life I had, and no matter how good or bad the day went, I'm happy that it was a good day that went by.
Mhm.
And I ask God to give another day which is even better than today, right? So prayers are also part of those words. We don't have to chant the mantras. Mantras have their own way of impacting our life, our well-being. But again, this simple aspect of saying prayers, simple prayers in your own language. We don't need the fixed languages that are given in the books, ritual books, holy books that say these words and these are going to have an impact. It's not necessary.
Mhm.
Something that comes from your heart. If you are having gratitude from your heart, and whatever you are saying, it actually shuns up the load. We can feel the load here when we
Mhm.
are stressed. And when you use those words, you can see this, the shoulders being lighter.
Mhm.
You'll feel lighter.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I like to write, right? So each day I write a poem or an affirmation or something, a write up side that is based. It's a creative way. I don't write a journal, but I write a creative writing in a creative
Mhm.
way. Again, creativity is linked to one of the chakras in our body that is connected with our emotions too.
Mhm.
So, if you are creative, you will actually energize that chakra, and that also helps into healing. So, a
It's
part of spirituality also comes into it.
mhm.
So, this is what I am doing. And uh, as the lockdown started in India in March, I've been able to see, I don't know how, but I can foresee the impact of the things. Everyone was going to be locked down at home inside the four walls. And how would you feel? Everyone is now able to tell how we feel, right?
Right.
Trapped inside the home, caged. It may look fun for a couple of days, 1 week, 2 week. It would look fun. Okay, we will watch Netflix, we'll watch movies and songs and all those things, enjoyment, voila. But again, after that, it starts to build up, because by nature, we are meant to be in nature.
Mhm.
That is called a concept of biophilia.
Mhm.
We are innately connected to nature. And if we are not able to go out in nature, it will have an impact on our mindset. Forget
Mhm.
about other health aspects, it will have impact on our mental health. So that requires us to work out a way to stay positive. So there I used my 21 days 21 words project.
I
And
saw
those
this.
were, yes, healing words. So common words, what do they mean in my way, my interpretation, a positive interpretation of
Mm-hmm.
how those words could be interpreted. So, if you want, I can tell you, I can talk to you, tell you about it if you want to know some of the words and their meanings, what I wrote, and how they impact us. I can tell right now here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yes. Let me ask you a
Just
question. So then you're working with individuals and you're also doing the podcast. How is that working?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it like a
I'm dealing with individuals, and at the same time sharing it the podcast to spread it to maximum people as possible. Right? Individuals come to me who need individual attention. Most of the people they'll benefit directly by listening to it, and they listen to things, and then they can work out in their life.
Mhm,
Because what I believe is most of the people, they don't need anyone to handhold them, they just need right direction. That could be done, let's say, by listening to someone. Let's say someone listened to you when you were telling something, how you can improve your life, even when you told your life story. Probably that was what was required to me, let's say,
mhm,
and that gave me direction in my life.
mhm.
So this is how things work. Our experiences, when we share about it, majority of the people, they can resolve their issues.
And I agree with that. I think that in my personal experience, that uh, it took me. I needed direction first, and I needed to be open to that direction and be willing to follow the instructions. And the amazing thing to me was that the people that I used as my mentors, my teachers, I knew from my own observation of them that they had been down that path.
Yeah.
It's just like you with your condition with the bleeding.
Yeah.
So you've been down that path and having to go through that process of healing. So you know the path
Yes.
intrinsically. You know it. It's part of your
Yeah.
DNA, right?
Yeah.
And so, like me, I had the mentors that said, okay, if you want to go down this path, you have to follow the instructions because
Mm.
this is how I got there, if you want to
Mm.
know. And
Mm.
then for me, it was, we explained to me, it's kind of like, with music.
Yes.
So we have this dialogue going on in our mind, and it's like when we hear a song for the first time, right?
Uh-huh.
It's nice, it's got a melody, but we really don't understand it. But then as we learn the song more and more and
Mm.
more, it becomes like part of our DNA, which is
Yes.
exactly like when we start to formulate this conversation in our mind. In the
Yes.
beginning, it's kind of weird, but then it becomes normal and natural. So that becomes our narrative in our own brain. And that
Mm.
narrative may be going in the wrong direction.
Mm.
So my teacher said, here's what you need to do. You need to begin a different conversation so that you override the old conversation. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, that makes sense. So he would tell me this. This is crazy,
Uh,
right? He would say,
uh,
go stand in front of the mirror
uh-huh.
and talk to yourself, just like you're saying with the words, the affirmations, what have you. And he would say, now remember, look into your eyes. So the
Yes.
mirror became like my master. So I was going, I was at home. I was, doing whatever. I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to talk to the master.
Yeah.
So I would stand there and I would talk to myself in the mirror, and it was just the conversation.
Mm.
Like if I was having an issue and I was upset, I would look into my eyes. Okay, Dominic, what's really going on here? What's happening?
Mm.
Tell me. you know, and then I would reprogram this conversation so that a new conversation, a new power of words, if you will,
Yes.
could then penetrate into me, and then I could go with a clarity, as you're saying, into my life, and things would be totally different. So tell me about these words that you've been doing. This 21 days was like a little experiment, or this is part of the process that you teach?
Uh, See, because some of those trainers that I have seen and I've been with, they say that 21 days requires to build a habit,
Yeah.
and 90 days required to make it a lifestyle, right? So I started with, let's try to make it a habit. Once things become a habit, you can automatically turn it into, switch it into your lifestyle, right? For me, it is my lifestyle now. So I do it on daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And here, one thing, solitude, uh, everyone might be aware of word solitude. They know its meaning also. So what I had interpreted as a time with self, when you are all alone. It has two aspects: loneliness and solitude. A time with self is a great time to go within and increase your root power. Loneliness fills mind with negativity that hinders in clear thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Again, thought process is important. Solitude, on the other hand, helps you bring positivity and clarity in thoughts. In times of adversity like this that we are going through right now, solitude is best way to seek clarity. As you said, practicing going in front of a mirror and talking to oneself, that is a part of a solitude activity that you did.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about remaining silent, being alone and being silent and just observing, right? So in clarity, seek clarity, mental peace, and healing from any emotional pain. So if we have emotional pain also, when we are in solitude, again, solitude means you are mindful. Loneliness means you are not mindful. You are just reacting to the things that are happening. That's why you will feel a lot more negative and depressed and sad when you are alone. So it is our thought process that will transform that alone time into loneliness or solitude,
Mm-hmm.
which has a better impact on our life. So, by understanding these words in a better way, we can bring about a change into our habits and our life.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, Dominic, because I don't know how. Probably this is one gift from God that all people who suffer from an early age they have this. I had this power of observation from childhood onwards. I would be able to observe people because many of the time what happened, I was, let's say I was not well, so I would be lying on the bed. I couldn't say anything but to listen to people around me, right? I
Mm-hmm.
had to listen to everyone, and what they meant, what they would say in front of my parents or in front of me when I was lying there, and what they would say to the world outside. There were differences, there were contrast to the things, and I was very observant of those things, how people actually used what word and focus on what type of word was there.
Mm-hmm.
So that would even tell you that this person is a real positive individual, or this person is someone who is pretending to be positive. Because now we are living in a world and social media and internet has given access to many people. There are people who actually read things and prepare something, let's say let's prepare it, and then they are very good at speaking things out. They are very good public speakers, so they spread as if that they are positive individuals, but again, in real sense they may not be positive,
Mm-hmm.
because the world today needs more people to be actually talking about positive aspects of life. And world needs people to how to help people to realize their power, how to solve their problems. World does not need people to tell you solve your problem. You are
Hmm.
solution to your own problems. I cannot be your solution,
Hmm.
because the problems that you are going through in your life are different. There might be some similarities, but are different. I've seen people, let's say I'm from hemophilia background. Again, in India, India is a vast country, and we have diverse areas. Diverse people come from different area. When I'm in Delhi, there I have met in the hemophilia daycare center uh, uh, children and parents coming from different areas from across Delhi and outside Delhi. I have met that one poor woman. Uh, she had son who is into mid 40s, and she is also old. They are not so rich. And you know what, one day we were just talking about it, and because everyone wants to know when the cure will come to this disease, right? Everyone is suffering. Since I am from biotech background, and I have been doing my research also, and I keep reading about it, what is happening, where the gene therapy is working out, and where the clinical trials have gone about, what is the cost of initial that therapy would be. That woman told me on that day that she wishes that her son dies before her.
Hmm.
You know why? Because
Suffering.
she does not know what will happen to her son if she dies.
Hmm.
Because today when he suffers, she brings him to hospital for factor injection, but she doesn't know what would happen to her son, whether he'll be able to come out of the house and reach the hospital where the factor is given or not.
Hmm.
So we need to bring about a change in the society,
Yeah.
and these words can help heal that mother also.
Hmm.
We spoke, and she transformed, and to a bit she was positive then, and I was happy that I could bring about some relief to her.
Hmm.
When I was doing my training, a master's training in ACPGI Lucknow in medical genetics department, I did there. Because the sample had to be collected in a lab part, so I was there doing my training in the laboratory section. So the parents would be separated; they would be kept out because the children's sample had to be taken for the research purpose. So again, initial counseling of the parents had to be done. See, I have seen my parents suffer. I'm myself someone who has come out of it, and I know that life is more beautiful and it's beyond that, those sufferings. So those words that I could connect with, they could connect with me. So there I uh, realized that there is something into these words, and how they could, when they are put, helps relieve people and is healing some part of them. It may not heal them completely, but again, it's healing at least some them of something. So this is what I have been trying to do.
Mm.
Each one has their own path to follow. I'm there to show them just the way, because I cannot follow other person's life.
Hmm.
And if you there are people out there who say we'll be doing hand holding and art. So there are millions of people, 7 billion population we have. Let's say millions are suffering. How many people we can handhold as an individual? We need to empower people. Find your own solution.
Hmm. Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, that's what empowerment really is to find our own solution and with guidance.
Yes.
And that's what you're doing. So you're like a life guide in many respects. Absolutely.
I'm doing what I think God has sent me to do.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's great. It's amazing. So where can we see or listen to rather your podcast? Is this something that I don't remember if I posted it in the other one, but can you post it in this thread when we're finished so that people can go and listen?
Yes, yes, yes. I will post it into this thread. Otherwise, by just name Dilse underscore Manoj, Dilse underscore Manoj. You can find me on Anchor. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Also, Apple has also approved me now, so I'm available on Apple Podcast and Breaker, and on 7 to 8 podcasting platform. I've also uh, put my for approval on Geo7. So hopefully they take 10 to 15 days to approve. So hopefully I'll be available there also. So I'll post the link to the anchor profile of the podcast, and there
Great.
from there people can connect.
Great. That's wonderful. Wow. So the healing power of words. I mean, it is important. I think. I mean, this is the title of the show. Why it's important, so that people can understand that it is words are important, and they mean a lot. They change lives, and even though, like I learned a long time ago, like words. There's some words like the word no. It's only 2 letters.
Yes.
And then there's the word yes, which is 3. Okay. They're very small words. Okay.
Uh,
But they have very different meaning,
yes.
you know? So words are powerful and they do heal because, from what you're saying, what I'm hearing is that when we let them in, we
Yes.
can then let them change this mentality, whatever, right? And then
Yes.
begin to, yeah, that's great. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much. That was amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you
Absolutely.
for giving me this opportunity to
Let's do it again.
speak on it. Yes.
You touched on several things. I had a few ideas um, that while you were talking, we could do other discussions that would work, especially like, for example, so that people that they can pretend or they could be authentic. And
Yes.
people have mastered the art of deception, not in
Yes.
a bad way, but it does create a certain ripple effect out there in the world, which is deceptive and is giving people the wrong idea. So that, I think you touched on, that is taking people off on a course not for their benefit. I mean, not for the other people's benefit, but for
Yes. That's
their
what. That's
benefit.
what. Because the important point is, if you are not able to actually understand, right? We talk about empathy. Just the word empathy doesn't mean that you are you are an empathetic person. You know the word meaning. It doesn't make you an empathetic person. You have to be able to understand what actually that person might be suffering, or the mental aspect. You will say that this course is for removing your this mental aspect, but you need to really understand what is the core reason for that person's suffering, because
Mhm.
that may be one small thing and it may not require let's say 3 month or 4 month journey. It may just require you a 1 2 3 days or 7 days journey, and that may actually change the entire outlook of that person. And see, so when we talk about 3 months and when we talk about 4 5 days or 7 days, so there is a huge difference in that. And in remaining days, let's say 1 week and 90 days, so 83 days, that person may be living a totally new wonderful life,
Mhm. Mhm.
and he or she may be actually helping other persons also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is actually how the thing should go, what I believe. But again, that is my belief, and other people have their own belief, and it's okay to have your
Mhm.
own uh,
Sure.
thought process.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
You're incredible, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. So we'll plan offline for another discussion, and
Okay.
make sure that you put the link in, and so people can come and find you. And I'll spread this around. And those of you out there who are watching, please share this video out. Support
Mm.
Manoj in what he's doing. Very important work. And
Mm.
thank you so much, Manoj.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dominic.
Absolutely. And thank you all for watching. So from all of us here in the Self-Achievement Network, remember to stay inspired always, everywhere, and have fun. Take care. We'll talk to you guys all soon.